Have you ever loved someone so deeply that letting them go felt impossible? What if I told you that the strongest, most courageous act of love isn't holding on, it's releasing them, without losing yourself in the process? Tonight, I'm going to show you why true love doesn't chain, why it doesn't demand, and how letting go can actually set both of you free. If you're ready to stop confusing attachment with love and start discovering strength you didn't know you had, stay with me, because this will change how you love forever. Loving someone doesn't mean you get to control their life, their choices, or their emotions. Too often, we confuse attachment with love and believe that holding someone close is the same as caring for them. The truth is, real love is liberating, not restricting. It allows the person to breathe, to make mistakes, and to explore who they truly are. When you try to cage someone with expectations, you suffocate the very bond you claim to cherish. Freedom is the oxygen of love, and without it, even the deepest affection can turn toxic. You can love someone deeply without demanding their presence every moment. Love is not about possession, it's about connection that respects individuality. Letting someone exist as themselves is a radical act of care. It's acknowledging that their path may be different from yours. Holding on too tightly often comes from fear, not love. Fear that they'll leave, fear that you won't find anyone else, fear that life will be emptier without them. But fear has no place in genuine love. Love fueled by fear becomes dependency. It loses its grace and its purity. True love grows from courage, from the ability to step back and trust both yourself and the person you care about. It's about saying, I believe in you even when I'm not holding your hand. Clinging out of insecurity only creates tension, resentment, and distance over time. To love someone fully, you have to trust them to choose you freely, not because they're trapped. Freedom in love ensures that the bond remains authentic and unforced. It's the difference between a relationship that suffocates and one that thrives. Letting go doesn't mean giving up or that your feelings are any less valid. There's a misconception that if you truly love someone, you must fight for them endlessly. But fighting does not always equal loving. Sometimes, the most courageous choice is to release, to allow the person to walk their own journey. It's not a reflection of weakness, but of strength. You're acknowledging that love isn't a transaction. It's not about who holds on harder or longer. It's about mutual respect and growth. Holding someone close against their will only breeds pain for both parties. Letting go demonstrates that your love is unconditional. It's about valuing the person's happiness, even if it doesn't include you. You accept that love can coexist with absence. Real love sees beyond the present moment and the immediate desire to be needed. It understands that life is a collection of experiences, some of which require space to be fully realized. Love isn't about always having proximity. It's about honoring the journey of the other person. By giving space, you allow growth, self-discovery, and clarity. When you try to control someone's path, you limit their potential and the depth of your connection. Letting go requires humility and patience, qualities that deepen your capacity to love. It's a quiet understanding that people need room to evolve, make choices, and sometimes make mistakes. Love thrives in trust, not in chains. Every act of letting go is an act of faith in both the person you love and in the strength of your own heart. Attachment often masquerades as love, but it's fundamentally different. Attachment is about needing someone to fill a void, to make life bearable, or to validate your worth. Love, however, is expansive and empowering. When you love someone without attachment, you create a bond that is free from obligation and expectation. You allow them to be their authentic selves without trying to rewrite who they are to fit your desires. The paradox of love is that the more freedom you give, the stronger the connection becomes. Control erodes trust, but trust fuels intimacy. By stepping back and releasing the need to dominate the relationship, you open the door for genuine connection. Love is about contribution, not coercion. You give without strings attached, you care without consuming, and you support without suffocating. Emotional courage is essential in letting go. It's easy to cling when your heart is screaming to hold on. It's hard to release when your instincts tell you to protect what you love. But courage is not the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. Loving without control requires bravery because you risk uncertainty, rejection, and even heartbreak. Yet, it is precisely this bravery that elevates love to something pure and transformative. By trusting someone to walk their own path, you demonstrate integrity and emotional maturity. It's a testament to the depth of your feelings that you can step back without resentment. Courageous love is selfless. It prioritizes the other person's growth over your comfort, and in that courage, you discover a love that is unshakable and authentic. Boundaries are not the enemy of love, they are its foundation. Establishing limits doesn't signify a lack of affection. It signals respect for both yourself and the other person. When you love someone, you recognize that your well-being matters as much as theirs. Boundaries create a safe space where love can flourish without the toxicity of control. They prevent resentment from building up, which often happens when one person sacrifices too much for the sake of holding on. Loving someone and letting them go requires clear understanding of what you can give and what you cannot. Boundaries protect the integrity of your love and ensure it remains sustainable. Without them, love can become draining, manipulative, or dependent. Healthy boundaries allow love to be freeing rather than confining. Letting go is an act of trust in the unseen. You don't always know what the future holds or how lives will intersect. Yet love asks for faith, faith that your connection has value regardless of circumstance. By releasing control, you honor the journey and autonomy of the other person. You also cultivate resilience in yourself. Life rarely unfolds according to plan, but love that is grounded in trust withstands distance, time, and change. Letting go teaches patience, perspective, and acceptance. You learn that love is not about possession, but about honoring the essence of someone else. It's a conscious decision to invest emotionally without demanding ownership. This kind of love transforms both the giver and the receiver. It turns attachment into admiration, dependency into respect, and fear into faith. The paradox of love is that letting go can deepen your bond rather than weaken it. When you release, you stop trying to force outcomes and allow life to take its natural course. This creates a relationship rooted in authenticity, not obligation. Love that requires control is fragile, but love that allows freedom is resilient. By stepping back, you encourage the other person to bring their true self to the relationship. You also allow yourself to remain whole and independent. Love becomes a choice rather than a chore, a gift rather than a transaction. Letting go demonstrates the highest form of care. It respects the individual's agency while affirming your commitment to connection. You create a love that is both strong and sustainable. Every act of releasing someone you love is a reflection of your inner strength. It takes self-awareness to distinguish between attachment and true affection. It takes emotional intelligence to resist the urge to control outcomes. It takes courage to honor another person's path while maintaining your own. In doing so, you cultivate a love that is generous, patient, and liberating. You discover that your capacity to love is not diminished by absence, but expanded by understanding. Freedom in love is the ultimate gift to yourself and to the person you care about. When you learn to hold space without holding on, you embrace a love that transcends possession and fear. You realize that letting go is not the opposite of love. It is its most profound expression. You cannot base your self-worth on someone else's presence or approval. Too often, we fall into the trap of defining our value by whether someone stays or leaves. Loving someone while letting them go is an act of strength because it shows that you recognize your own importance. You understand that your happiness and growth are not contingent upon another person's choices. Clinging to someone out of fear only diminishes your power. When you release someone with respect and love, you are honoring your own boundaries. Self-worth is cultivated when you prioritize your needs alongside the love you give. You show that love does not require self-sacrifice to the point of losing yourself. The choice to let go demonstrates confidence, maturity, and emotional intelligence. Real love is expansive but self-respect is non-negotiable. Many people confuse attachment with love, but attachment is rooted in insecurity. Attachment says, I need you to stay so I feel okay, while love says, I trust you to choose freely and I honor your path. When you let go while loving someone, you are refusing to let fear dictate your emotions. You understand that your value is inherent and does not fluctuate with someone else's decisions. This perspective allows you to act with clarity rather than desperation. You choose to give love generously without demanding reciprocity. Your power lies in the knowledge that you are complete, whether or not someone remains in your life. Clinging is often a reflection of dependence, not affection. Letting go is a declaration that your worth cannot be negotiated. You refuse to trade your integrity for temporary comfort. Releasing someone while still caring is a profound expression of self-respect. It's saying that your dignity is more important than your desire to control outcomes. When you value yourself, you set a standard for how others should treat you. Love without respect is hollow. It becomes manipulation, codependence, or resentment. By letting go, you assert that you will not compromise your well-being to maintain someone else's presence. You create a life where love is empowering, not depleting. This is the essence of emotional maturity, recognizing that boundaries are acts of care, not punishment. You cannot be a source of strength for someone else if you neglect your own needs. Self-worth is not selfish, it's foundational. Without it, love becomes an exchange of fear and insecurity rather than a connection of choice and trust. Fear often masquerades as devotion, convincing us to hold on at all costs. We fear loneliness, rejection, or the unknown. But fear-driven love is limiting and suffocating. It erodes trust, corrodes intimacy, and diminishes your sense of self. By letting go, you confront the fear head-on and reclaim your power. You acknowledge that life is unpredictable and that your value is not contingent upon another person's decisions. Courage is required to release someone you love because it means accepting uncertainty. But within that courage lies liberation. You choose yourself-worth over temporary attachment. You prioritize emotional health over dependency. Letting go rooted in self-respect ensures that the love you give is pure, not desperate. True self-worth is reflected in the way you love and let go. When you recognize your own value, you stop seeking validation through someone else's actions. You no longer manipulate, plead, or compromise your principles for the sake of keeping someone close. Instead, you choose love that is free, respectful, and empowering. Releasing someone demonstrates confidence in your own identity and your ability to thrive independently. You understand that love cannot be forced, coerced, or held hostage. By prioritizing yourself, you cultivate relationships that are reciprocal rather than transactional. This self-awareness strengthens your ability to give without losing yourself. You allow both yourself and the other person to flourish. Your love becomes a choice, not a necessity. Letting go while loving someone also teaches resilience. It shows that you can maintain emotional stability without needing someone else to anchor you. Your sense of self is not fragmented by their presence or absence. You learn that happiness is not external, it is internal. Self-worth acts as a compass that guides your decisions and protects your energy. When you love freely without compromising yourself, you set a precedent for all future relationships. You attract people who respect your boundaries and honor your growth. This clarity comes from the understanding that your value is independent. By releasing someone with love, you reinforce the principle that love and self-respect are not mutually exclusive. They coexist and strengthen one another. Self-worth also allows you to embrace impermanence with grace. Life is full of change, and people will come and go. You cannot control every outcome, nor should you try. By letting go, you accept the natural flow of life and honor both your own and the other person's evolution. Love does not demand permanence. It requires presence, honesty, and respect. Your self-respect ensures that you do not settle for less than you deserve. It allows you to say yes to love without saying no to yourself. When you understand that your happiness is non-negotiable, you navigate relationships with authenticity. You love fully, but without attachment to control. This mindset transforms both your approach to relationships and your capacity to give love without losing yourself. Clarity comes with self-worth. You see the difference between love and dependency, connection and control, choice and obligation. This clarity empowers you to make decisions that align with your values. You recognize when holding on is motivated by fear rather than affection. Letting go becomes a conscious choice, not a reaction. It is an act of integrity and emotional strength. You refuse to compromise your identity for the comfort of attachment. Self-worth becomes your anchor, keeping you grounded when emotions feel turbulent. By honoring yourself first, you honor the authenticity of the love you share. The relationship is no longer about survival, but about mutual respect and freedom. Ultimately, loving someone while letting them go is a testament to your understanding of your own value. It demonstrates that your happiness is not contingent upon external circumstances. You show that love can be selfless without being self-destructive. You cultivate relationships that are healthy, reciprocal, and empowering. Letting go is not a loss. It is a demonstration of strength, clarity, and integrity. By prioritizing self-worth, you ensure that the love you give is authentic, pure, and free from fear. Your actions reflect an inner confidence that cannot be shaken by another person's decisions. Self-respect and love coexist harmoniously, creating bonds that are resilient, authentic, and meaningful. You understand that true love never diminishes your value, it amplifies it. When you let go while loving, you reclaim your power. You define your worth independently of anyone else's actions or choices. This mindset allows you to love deeply without losing yourself in the process. You become a source of strength, not dependency. Your self-respect is evident in every decision, every boundary, and every act of release. Love transforms from an obligation into a gift, given freely and received authentically. By honoring your worth, you ensure that every relationship is rooted in respect, integrity, and freedom. You are not diminished by letting go. You are elevated. Self-worth is the foundation upon which love thrives, and letting go is its truest expression. Growth and love are not always aligned on the same timeline. People change, circumstances evolve, and sometimes two paths that once ran together need to diverge. Holding on out of habit, comfort, or fear can prevent both parties from reaching their full potential. Growth requires space, and space sometimes means separation. Love does not cease when paths diverge, it adapts. Letting someone go to grow does not indicate a lack of care, but a deep respect for their journey. You understand that life is dynamic, and holding on too tightly may stunt the very growth you wish for them. Allowing someone room to evolve is an act of courage. Growth is rarely linear, and timing is rarely perfect. Accepting this reality requires clarity and emotional strength. Separation often illuminates truths that proximity hides. When we are too close, patterns of dependency, expectation, and comfort can mask what is truly necessary for growth. Letting go allows perspective to emerge. It reveals whether love is mutual, aligned, and sustainable. People grow into their best selves when given the freedom to explore and make choices independently. Forcing presence or clinging to comfort limits transformation. Growth is uncomfortable, and love that facilitates growth is often tested by absence. Releasing someone shows that you value their potential more than your own temporary comfort. It demonstrates emotional intelligence and restraint. True love is willing to take risks for the sake of development, even if it causes pain. Holding on too tightly often comes from fear rather than care. Fear of change, fear of loneliness, or fear that the bond will break keeps people tethered. But love motivated by fear is constrictive, and it can stunt personal evolution. Growth demands courage to face uncertainty, to allow life to unfold naturally. By letting go, you give both yourself and the other person space to grow. It is an act of faith in life and in the strength of the bond, Absence does not diminish connection, it tests resilience and authenticity. Releasing someone demonstrates confidence in the future, not desperation in the present. It acknowledges that growth sometimes requires distance. Love thrives when nurtured with freedom, not bound by control. Personal growth often intersects with life's timing in unpredictable ways. A person you love might need experiences that do not include you. They might need challenges, risks, or opportunities that require independence. Clinging to their side may protect your comfort, but deny them essential growth. Letting go is an acknowledgement that life cannot always bend to your wishes. It is a recognition that their journey is as important as your attachment. You may still love them deeply, but growth demands respect for autonomy. When you release someone, you contribute to their evolution rather than hinder it. Love, in this context, is active support without ownership. It is choosing the long-term development of the individual over immediate satisfaction. Emotional courage is essential in allowing someone to grow apart from you. The heart resists separation, instinctively wanting to hold what is familiar. But real love requires the bravery to step back and trust the process. Growth can be painful, and letting go is often accompanied by doubt, anxiety, or sorrow. Yet, in that discomfort lies authenticity. You are not abandoning the person, you are honoring the natural unfolding of life. Courageous love allows the other person to explore without guilt or pressure. You cultivate a bond that is resilient, grounded in trust rather than proximity. It teaches patience, empathy, and emotional clarity. Growth requires this type of courage to flourish fully. Sometimes growth requires making room for new experiences, ideas, and relationships. People cannot develop when confined to static environments or limited perspectives. Letting go opens space for transformation. It allows both individuals to explore new dimensions of themselves and their lives. Love that embraces growth recognizes that change is inevitable and valuable. It does not cling out of fear, but encourages evolution. Separation in this context is not loss, but expansion. By releasing someone, you give them permission to thrive, to experiment, and to step into their full potential. Growth demands a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Love flourishes when freedom and opportunity are honored, not restricted. Holding on to someone who is meant to grow independently often leads to stagnation. Both parties may remain comfortable but unfulfilled. Letting go can be the catalyst that sparks transformation. It provides perspective, clarity, and the opportunity to realign priorities. You demonstrate that love does not require ownership or permanence. It requires respect for individuality. Separation can reveal strengths, values, and passions that were previously hidden. By allowing growth, you cultivate resilience, patience, and understanding. The relationship, if it continues, is stronger for it. If it doesn't, the lessons endure. Love becomes a tool for empowerment rather than a chain of dependency. Growth thrives in space, freedom, and courage. Acceptance is critical when growth leads to divergence. Sometimes, paths that were once aligned no longer converge. Letting go does not mean the love disappears. It means honoring the journey of both individuals. Life is not a static narrative, and holding on too tightly often denies both people the chance to evolve fully. By accepting change, you model grace, resilience, and emotional maturity. Love becomes less about control and more about trust. Releasing someone is a demonstration of faith in life's unfolding. You acknowledge that their happiness may not always coincide with your own expectations. Growth often requires detachment, and love is stronger when it can withstand the reality of impermanence. Letting go while loving someone also fosters self-growth. Observing, releasing, and trusting strengthens your emotional resilience. It teaches perspective, patience, and humility. You learn that love is not about possession, but about respect, encouragement, and empowerment. By stepping back, you clarify your values and boundaries. Growth is reciprocal. As the other person evolves, you evolve as well. Letting go encourages introspection and reflection on your own needs, desires, and limitations. It cultivates wisdom in how you approach relationships. Love becomes intentional rather than reactive. Through this process, both individuals are shaped into stronger, more self-aware versions of themselves. The act of letting go is not passive, it is active, deliberate, and deeply loving. It requires conscious effort to prioritize growth over comfort, potential over attachment, and integrity over fear. True love recognizes when proximity is no longer serving development and chooses to release with respect. By doing so, you create an environment where both people can thrive individually and, if paths align later, together. Growth is not a threat to love, it is its evolution. Letting go demonstrates faith in both life's timing and the inherent value of the person you care for. Love becomes a force that empowers rather than confines. It cultivates resilience, wisdom, and authenticity. Each act of release reinforces that growth is an essential, non-negotiable part of life and love. The act of letting someone go does not diminish the love you feel, it amplifies its purity. Love is not possession, it is care, respect, and understanding. You can deeply care for someone and still recognize when their path no longer aligns with yours. Holding on too tightly may create resentment, tension, or stagnation. Letting go is an act of selflessness that honors both their journey and your own. It requires emotional clarity to separate love from attachment. Real love celebrates freedom and growth rather than clinging out of fear. By releasing someone, you demonstrate courage and integrity. Love that allows distance is stronger than love that suffocates. True love is liberated, not confined. Releasing someone teaches the power of emotional intelligence. It shows that you can hold love in your heart without needing to control outcomes. Love does not need constant validation or proximity to be meaningful. By letting go, you create a space where both individuals can heal, evolve, and thrive. This act requires patience, humility, and trust. It allows you to detach from fear and insecurity, creating emotional resilience. Letting go is a conscious decision, an acknowledgement that life is unpredictable and people's paths can change. Love that is freed from possession is more authentic, more sustainable, and more fulfilling. It transforms dependency into respect and fear into faith. This is the essence of mature, intentional love. Letting go also reflects courage. It takes bravery to release someone who still holds a piece of your heart. The natural instinct is to cling, to beg, to fight for continuity. But true courage recognizes that holding on may hurt both parties. By letting go, you honor the person's autonomy and your own boundaries. Courageous love understands that freedom is an essential part of connection. You trust that the love you shared is meaningful, even if circumstances change. Releasing someone is not rejection. It is affirmation of love's depth. It is saying, I love you enough to let you grow. In this courage, love transforms from dependency into empowerment. Letting go is an act of respect for both yourself and the other person. It communicates that your love is not contingent on control or possession. You respect their choices, their growth, and their individuality. Respecting someone's autonomy fosters trust and deepens the emotional bond. It also reinforces your own self-respect, preventing bitterness and resentment from taking root. Love without respect is fragile. Love with respect is enduring. Releasing someone is an expression of honor, acknowledging their journey and your own integrity. When you act from respect, love becomes a gift rather than a chain. It is deliberate, conscious, and compassionate. Respect ensures that love is a force for good, not a source of suffering. Letting go allows space for personal growth and transformation. It gives both parties the freedom to explore, evolve, and discover their truest selves. Love does not demand stagnation. It celebrates expansion. By releasing someone, you create room for experiences, insights, and growth that might otherwise be unattainable. This space is not absence. It is an invitation for both individuals to flourish independently. Growth enhances love rather than diminishes it, teaching resilience, perspective, and self-awareness. It strengthens the foundation of any future connection. Letting go becomes a catalyst for transformation, for clarity, and for authentic happiness. Growth ensures that love remains vibrant, purposeful, and life Affirming. The process of letting go nurtures emotional maturity. You learn to separate love from neediness, affection from attachment, and care from control. Emotional maturity allows you to act intentionally rather than react impulsively. It teaches patience, understanding, and the value of timing. You realize that some people are meant to walk beside you only for a season, and that season may be essential to both of your growth. By letting go, you embrace life's impermanence without bitterness. You accept that love is not always permanent, but its lessons are timeless. Emotional maturity turns heartbreak into wisdom and separation into empowerment. It transforms pain into clarity and longing into acceptance. Mature love is generous, grounded, and resilient. Letting go demonstrates faith in life and in the other person. It is a declaration that you trust their choices and honor their journey. You understand that love does not need constant control to remain valid. Faith allows you to release attachment to outcomes and embrace uncertainty with confidence. By trusting life's process, you cultivate patience, hope, and inner peace. This faith is not naive, it is informed by love, experience, and clarity. Letting go reinforces the belief that love is not conditional on proximity, approval, or permanence. It shows that love is a guiding force rather than a tether. In this trust, both individuals can experience growth, freedom, and fulfillment. Faith transforms separation into a meaningful, loving act. Letting go also opens the possibility for new beginnings. When you release someone with love, you create space for healing, self-discovery, and future opportunities. Love that clings may limit growth, experiences, and potential connections. By allowing freedom, you invite the unknown, trusting that life has its own rhythm and timing. This openness nurtures hope, optimism, and courage. You are able to move forward without resentment, carrying love as a lesson rather than a burden. Letting go ensures that your heart remains capable of deep affection, both for yourself and others. Love becomes fluid, adaptable, and enduring. Each release creates the potential for richer, more meaningful connections. Finally, letting go is the ultimate expression of love's strength. It proves that love does not need control, fear, or attachment to exist. By releasing someone, you demonstrate courage, respect, patience, and trust. Love becomes a force that empowers, heals, and transforms rather than confines or diminishes. It teaches lessons of freedom, growth, and emotional resilience. Every act of release is an affirmation of the depth of your feelings, the clarity of your intentions, and the maturity of your heart. Letting go is not weakness, it is strength in action. It is a conscious, loving choice that honors both yourself and the person you care for. Love, in its purest form, is freedom, courage, and faith.